Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? And welcome to The Jump. And if this is your first time here, The Jump is all about bringing you interesting people from around the world to help you jump. And when I mean to jump into greatness, into success. My next guest, Carolyn Dickinson, I met her not even a month ago now, and we became such good friends because enthusiastic, powerful, she loves what she does, and I want you to love her as well. So stay tuned. Here we go.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes, we are live, and I can't wait. Without further ado, let me just bring her in. Carolyn, are you there?
I'm here, sweetheart. How are you?
All right, I have to warn everybody now, this is going to be one of my most different live shows we've ever done. So I'm just telling you guys that from now, because we just talk. We just have fun. We get to the nitty gritty. We don't hold nothing back. We say it how it is. So
that's it.
So how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. It's a beautiful snowy day, and we're like, it's snowball day. We have to have a snow day this afternoon, have a snowball fight, and build a snowman.
Yeah, and we were just talking off air into the green room about, the life we live, the situation we're in right now, our families, and what have you been doing during this time?
Literally, we've been trying to keep things going. I run my business from home. Thank goodness. I designed my business for that because I have two small girls and I wanted to be around for them. So I'm blessed that way that I was able to maintain moving my business forward. I have one daughter in school and one daughter at home school. So I'm a full-time teacher, a full-time cook, a full-time business owner, a full-time mom, wife and dog owner. So just trying to keep it all together and keep sanity in the household. That's the most important thing.
Glad the dog didn't get left out about a while ago.
No, you know what? He's my baby. So you cannot leave out my baby.
You gotta
He's the one that doesn't talk back to me.
Oh, you see? That's the difference. There's the difference.
He's the only one that doesn't talk back to me, Charles. So, him and I are buddies.
So let's find out who Carolyn is. Carolyn, born and raised. Where are you from?
Well, I'm actually born and raised in Toronto. However, my family is from the West Indies. My parents and most of my siblings were born in St. Kitts. And so we grew up in a fairly traditional West Indian family with rules and, don't ever talk back to your parents. That's just not happening. What happens nowadays, you'd be across the room in 2 seconds. The belt's coming out or the broom and you're, or as my father used to say, you have to pick out the switch.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about. So it was just a very different world. But I was very blessed because, my parents really wanted to make sure both their sons and daughters knew how to do absolutely everything. And so and we had huge Christmas and family gatherings. So that was the blessing of all of that. It was really joyful to have everybody together. Not just regular visits, but on those special occasions, we had there was 30 of us easily.
So then the question is, what was Carolyn like as a little girl?
Carolyn was a very outgoing yet shy little girl. So I was always like, hi, how's it going? Let's play, very light, very easygoing, wanting to enjoy life. And then we go through character building situations that sometimes alter us and change us on the way we do things or how we perceive things or feel about ourselves. And that definitely is something I experienced. But as a little girl, I was a bit crazy. Hasn't changed.
I have to ask, what do you mean a little bit crazy? What's the crazy part?
I was willing to do anything. I had that go-getter kind of attitude to play, to go try anything. I was the first kid that had roller skates on the street. I would smash up my knees, heel, and get right back on them. I really wanted to go out and have fun and enjoy things. And, most of my friends were boys, which in those days was a no-no, but I was like, I didn't have time for girl talk. I really wanted to go. I had a train set. I was a tomboy.
Okay. So you wanted to just go explore and see what's out there.
Exactly. I like adventures, and I still do. So it was just, my mom would say, you need to put on a dress. I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't want to put on a dress, Mom. Right. I was just so much comfortable sitting in my, pants or dress pants and stuff. So we tried to work those things out, but I had to wear a dress or skirt sometimes.
So then what did you want to be when you're growing up?
I really didn't know. At first, I thought I wanted to be a nurse like my sister. And then, visiting the hospital a few times, I saw what they had to do and went, I ain't doing that.
Okay.
So, it really was a variety of things. Now, the challenge for me was that I also had dyslexia. And that is something my father had. And they didn't realize it. Keep in mind, I'm 51 years old. So in those days, they really didn't understand on a high level what a learning challenge was or how to support someone with a learning challenge. So it was a very difficult time for me trying to figure it out. My parents didn't know what to do with me. They were looking for answers, trying to support me, hired a tutor. The problem was they were teaching me the same way. And when you have a learning challenge, the average person might learn in a straight line. Someone with a learning challenge, it's a bit of a windy road. So if you don't understand how that windy road goes, it's very hard to retain information that's being provided to you. So you need to be able to learn how best your mind works to receive information and retain it. And you need somebody who knows better to support you. The problem was there wasn't anybody that knew better to support me at that time. So school was very challenging for me. I didn't get good grades. I kept passing somehow. When high school came, my marks were even lower. Sometimes I got a C. If I was lucky, I got a B, but it was mostly Ds. And I just, even though I got some good marks for a while, it was very debilitating for a period of time because, again, there were certain teachers that are just obnoxious, and they don't exist as much, I guess, today. But I remember being told I was a waste of space and that it was a waste of me being in school because I was never going to learn anything. And when people would say that, I was just like, well, to you.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, even though I was tough, there was a part of it that was really hurting my heart because here I am looking up at these teachers and these are the kinds of things I'm hearing them say, and some to my face and some behind my back. So it wasn't until the end of high school and I gave up. I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to college or university. It doesn't matter what I want to do. I'm never going to be able to do it. And I wasn't sure. So when you're trying to figure out how to do basic learning, you're not really thinking about what you're going to do in the future. You're trying to get through day to day, right? Planning ahead wasn't in my realm at that time. And nobody was, really there. And again, my father, to be cruel, to be kind, to try to get me to work harder would say things like, you better marry rich or you're not going to survive at 16 years old. And I'm thinking, what the? And,
so hold on.
Sorry?
So hold on. Let me back up for a second because your father's telling you, well, you better marry rich. But then there's a statement you said that, okay, you found out that you had it. But then there's something that you said that triggered my question here is he had it.
Yes.
So how do you know it's tougher for back then for him?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he found a way to do certain things. Mathematically, he was very good. He actually was a math teacher in the West Indies in St. Kitts. So what he did was he went after stuff that was mathematical.
Okay.
So he actually worked for the McDonnell Douglas aircraft building the DC-10 wings. And he decided to become, on a side job, especially when they went on strike a few times, he went and got himself certified as an electrician. So, he had at that time 4 kids, a wife, a house to maintain after he moved from St. Kitts to Toronto. And so he went out and got himself certified as an electrician. Again, all numbers for the most part, right?
Right.
And it's the memory process is very different in that. Spelling and writing and reading were not his area of expertise. He could get by, don't get me wrong. He was a very smart man, but there was challenges. So my mom took over a lot of that stuff. And so they made a very good match. And then he also, becoming an electrician, would be able to work when they were in strike. He's like, I can't go to those strike lines. My family has to survive. Like, I'm not going to be able to feed them. So he really went after stuff that was in his line of expertise, or line, if you want to call it, of base knowledge, that he retained that information very well. So he figured that out very quickly on his own. And he was very crafty and hands-on. So it made a lot of sense for him to do those. So he somehow figured it all out. But it's a little harder in the schools that we have here. I mean, the expectations in schools in the West Indies to here is also very different, much, much higher level, and they push much harder. And they really do. They don't look at challenges. They look at how to fix it. And, or you get the strap. So basically you have to learn, right?
One or the other. So
yeah.
What was the challenge for you, knowing, okay, your father has it, you have it? Did it change your ideal of going after stuff?
It did. It really kind of, and I guess more so not the dyslexia itself, but the lack of support or confidence. I always felt like I was never enough. But there was also something, it's funny when people ask me this, it's like this fire in my belly that just kept telling me you're supposed to do more. But when at the end of high school, when all this happened, I really was ready to give up. I was done. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I will find a job. And that didn't really appeal to me. And luckily there was a counselor. Her name was Mrs. Hamwood. I'll be honest, these are people that saved my lives. I'm terrible with names, but I'll never forget these names for the rest of my life. And Miss Hamwood just basically said, you're going to college. And I said, Miss Hamwood, I'm D's. How am I going to get into college? She goes, sweetheart, you're way too smart. And I know you don't get it yet. So we went on a road trip, and she took me to Warden Woods campus, Centennial College, and introduced me to Trevor Massey. At the time, he was in charge of registration. And she said, Trevor, you need to enroll this girl. And he said, okay. And I went, oh, I was gobsmacked. How is this happening? How is this woman doing this miracle? And so I was still in shock. And she goes, let's take another walk. And she took me down the hall to the counseling department, Dave Robertson, who was the head of counseling there. And she said to me, he specializes in learning challenges. And I went, oh, like all of a sudden some light bulbs went on, and I'm still uncertain, but thinking of possibility. And I sat down and had a chat with him. And for the first time in my life, I saw a path for me. I saw possibility. And that was the first day that I actually felt like I was going to accomplish something in a very long time.
So did you feel then that all you really needed was that push?
I think I needed the right people, right? I would have gone on to college and university. I just felt like I can't go through another year of being told that I don't know anything and I'm not smart. I can't go through another year of failing. And funny enough, my first year, so what they wanted me to do was take general courses in year one to up level my grades. So again, this is, I'm like 18 years old, going into college. And still, I had to change my thinking and the process. I did something in a year. That's a really hard thing to do. So my grades were still very low, and I didn't see possibility of going into another course. Now, Dave had gotten to know me and my personality, like you and I have gotten to know it. And he said to me, I said, Dave, I really want to do early childhood education, but I don't have the grades. And he said, Carolyn, I need you to go book an appointment with the director and talk to her. He goes, one thing that you're very good at is speaking and talking. And if you want this bad enough, I think you should go after it. And I went, I like that idea. So I did. I booked an appointment. She agreed to see me. I told her that this is what I really wanted, and I was going to work really hard to do well. And within 24 hours, she let me in to a course that was full.
See, the thing that I'm listening to you is that everybody just gave you that push. Everybody gave you that little thing that says you can do it. So for many years, that one teacher that said, well, you're not going to really become anything is out of your mind right now. You're not listening to that person. She's gone out of your mind. You're not even thinking about her anymore. All these new people in your life is like, what are you waiting for? Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Let's jump into action. Let's do something. Let's create something. And I saw that as a possibility. So I actually, for the first time in my life, graduated a high B and A student. And that I never thought was a possibility. So graduation wasn't even important to me. It was just the fact that I got these marks and I did well. And I realized I wanted more. So I actually went on to university to do psychology. And that was incredible. I was so excited about that because I really wanted to study how people's minds worked. So I really enjoyed that whole entire process and went on to study social work. And this is when I really started to figure out who I was, because within the first year, I realized I can't do this course. They have such a set way. And, you know, if there's any social workers out there, God love you. We need you. You're so important right now. And always have been. But for me, it was a very set way of thinking.
Right.
And I couldn't do it because I have a different philosophy of working with people. And that is, yes, there's a foundation we can build and work on. However, you have to see the needs of each individual and adjust things slightly to work for them. And because I realized that how important that was for me, I didn't want to be put like I was in this little tiny mold and expecting to fit everyone in there.
You felt it was like a cookie cutter.
Exactly. And my mind could not wrap around it. So if I didn't answer questions or do essays or tests exactly the way they expected, I would fail. And I was just like, you know what, this isn't for me. And I walked away after the first year and went on to do other things. And, you know, I had multiple jobs, ended up in corporate, actually went into the direct marketing industry for many years. But just to jump back quickly, one of the things that Dave Robertson Centennial College did for me was one of the best things he could have done was he got a grant to help me work with him during the summers. And I actually helped them build up the resource center for the counseling department for people with learning challenges and physical challenges.
Okay.
So documentation, acts, information, people where they could go to contact outside of the school for support, reading material to understand what their challenge was, how to shift things. So file and cabinet full of stuff, created a whole entire resource room, did my research and homework, interviewed people, did all kinds of things that I really loved doing. And I learned so much about myself, so much about my own learning challenge and what I needed to do to move things forward. So not only did I have a job, I got to work in an arena that really blessed me in so many ways. And I was able to set a foundation to help others and to go around and speak to all the teachers who were actually refusing kids. Can you believe this? They were refusing them because they had a learning challenge, didn't know how to support them, or a physical challenge. And so I went around to make sure they knew that this resource center was open. And they literally said to me, I can't believe I've been refusing people. I didn't even know this existed. And we changed how things were done. And I got to be a part of that. And that was like incredible.
I think that's why we connected so well, because I tell my story all the time. I'm not ashamed of it. Growing up, you know, we thought, you know, back in my day, they called it SLD, slow learning disability. And then what we realized is that we didn't have a slow learning disability. We just learned differently. You know what I mean? Same thing with your dad. I love math. You know, give me numbers all day. I'll put them together. Calculating things, putting things together. But the thing that I want everybody to listen to understand is that if there's a young person listening out there, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay. So when the teachers out there, some of them are calling them, you know, dumb, stupid, or, you know, they're not giving them the extra time. It's just a way of doing it. Because I guarantee you throw that kid a Rubik's Cube and that thing will be put together in no time. Give it to the teacher and she's still working on it, or he's still working on it. Yeah. So I love the story that you're saying that, you know, it just needed the one person for you to get attached to.
And you know what the thing about it is, and so as soon as you said that you're not broken to youth out there, I started almost to cry, because please hear that. Like it, and if you have children that are going through something like this, they are not broken. They are so smart, and it's just fine. Like I've heard people say, you know, my kid isn't going to go any far. They're not very smart. They have challenges. I'm like, I want to punch them in the face. Sorry if you're out there saying that. I apologize. I have to say what I'm truly feeling right now. I can't hold back, because here's the deal. You just have to find where it is that excites them. You know, what excites them. If you see them that they're attracted to something in building, get them anything they can to build. Focus on the area they do well, because when they get the confidence they're doing well in here, they'll expand in other areas.
Right.
Don't limit them and force them to learn something they're not ready to learn. It will come. I promise you. Find the right people to support you. They are out there. But if your kid likes to do something, like my daughter, my youngest one is very smart, but she is hands-on. Like even in class, she's online school. If I don't give her something to fidget with her hands, she can't sit still. And instead of trying to take it away from her, and sit straight and do this.
Yeah.
I've learned to just kind of let her be. Like there has to be some rules. Don't get me wrong. You can't go crazy in your room and not focus on the teacher. But if I can get her, and then on her breaks, I take her for walks, because she has to be outside. And by doing these things with her, I'm letting her be who she needs to be so she can focus. Now, she has challenges with certain things, and not because of a learning challenge, but just because it's very hard for her to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do things in the car. We'll take a walk and talk about what she's studying. You know, while we do our breaks and take a walk, we'll talk about, has to write a poem. Well, what do you think the poem should be about? And I'll ask her questions, and we'll come up with a solution, and we'll go home and rewrite it together. So really, if you see your kid really, even if it's video games, start applying the education and the learning to the video game, you know, whether it's Roblox. So when you're building, like my other daughter loves to build and design. So sometimes when she's stuck on math, we talk about that. I will actually pull in what it is she's doing in that video game and apply it to what we're learning, and it clicks in faster. So it's really just find that way to get that information in. That
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
They relate to, and that they can understand it. And that's the gift I was given. So please give this gift to your family members, your kids, or if you're a young person, don't let anybody tell you ever that you can't do it. And I'm going to give you an example. When I learned so much about what was going on with me from Dave and from everybody else, I remember in Centennial College, this teacher called me aside. So one of the things I got was extra time, because when it came to essay, I needed more time focusing on that, because that was my challenged area. And if I had more time to look it over and really think about it and read it 5 times, I did very well. If I could only read it over once, I wasn't going to do well, because the way my brain conceived it as what looked normal wasn't, flowing for everybody else. So when somebody else read it, they didn't know what the heck I was talking about. So I needed that extra time. And I did well. And funny, I had a teacher that said to me, he sat me down. It was so funny. He sat me down, Charles, and he said, we tend to make excuses for ourselves, and we let other people tell us what we can and cannot do. And I sat there with a smirk on my face, and there was some words going through my head I can't repeat because we're live. But I said to him, you know what? I really appreciate your perspective. But you see, I have spent the last 3 years understanding what my learning challenge is. And that, I was actually diagnosed by a doctor who I think is probably a little more educated in that arena than you. Mm-hmm. And I'm very comfortable with where I am right now. I know what I need. So you can either provide it for me, or I'll find another way. He said, wow, okay. And that conversation never happened again. So that was basically my in the nicest, most politically correct way I could do it. And I smiled at him, got up and walked away, and he never disrespected me again. And I was polite, I was direct, and I said, and if you have a challenge with this, I'm happy to set up a meeting with Dave Robertson in the counseling department, who runs this entire program, who has educated and helped me educate others around this particular situation. And I smiled nice and big.
See, that's why I wanted to go to commercial before you started, because I know if you start on this subject, girl, it's not going to...
Sorry, you know what? I want people, there's more. So go to commercial because I got so much more to say.
I know, because the question I want to ask you when we come out of commercial, and I'm going to go to commercial first, so you can you can de-simmer before you come back, is challenging with your kids, parents, and teachers. How parents have to be an advocate for your child when you go into school. When it comes to learning, could be bullying, could be any of those subjects. So when we come right back, we're going to talk about how do you feel growing up and the challenges you moved forward and the teachers in your life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes, we are back live. And listen, I'm telling you right now, you better hang on for part 2, because I know this is a touchy subject. We talk about this all the time, but I want to get it out there because I feel if you are the student or the teacher or the parent, and that all three should be listening right now because we've gone through it. So, let's talk about it. All right. You've gone through your life of, teachers telling you this and that and whatever. Now you have kids. Right? You had teachers that say, not going to go anywhere. Don't do this. But then you also had teachers that said, you can do it. As a parent, when you go in and you know what you've gone through and you see the teacher doing the same thing to your child or not giving them the extra, how do you go about it?
Okay, well, that's when I have to pull back the West Indian side in me. So I got to tell you, I have to vent with my husband before I go in. But I, being in corporate, doing all the things that I've done, you learn that it's better to walk in, be politically correct and polite to start with. So, I did have this challenge with my eldest daughter about bullying. And, as someone who actually experienced bullying myself as well as a kid, because I shot up and became so tall so quickly. And so I had all the Jolly Green Giant, Amazon, all kinds of things that, at that time, I don't care now, but at that time, it's kind of heartbreaking when it's like, oh, these people are making fun of me. But I've watched my daughter and, here's the thing about it. As much as schools say that they don't tolerate bullying, it is not the case, because here's the biggest challenge. And I also was CSAC chair, which is a parent council for my daughter's Catholic school for 5 years. And I see the challenges because unfortunately right now, there are parents out there that, you tell them that your kid's bullying. They're not willing to look at the possibility of it. They don't want to believe that their child could be a bully. And hey, listen, anybody can be a bully. I've already told my daughter, I caught her once. And I said, listen, from what you've experienced, if I ever see you do that again, the consequences at her home are going to be way higher for you, because that's not acceptable way to treat someone. So it's really important to treat your children, whether it's a boy or a girl, on how to treat other people. And it starts early. There's no excuse anymore to say, well, oh, he's a boy, or they're just kids. I'm sorry. It's not acceptable. It has to start from home. It has to start right now. And respect is so important, not just for others, but for themselves. When they respect themselves, the way they communicate with people will be different, and the way they're respected will be different. I tell my daughter, if one thing I do is teach you how to be respectful and respect of yourself and honor yourself, then I've been a good mom. And that's just my opinion. I'm not telling you have to think like me. I was asked my opinion, so you're going to get it. I always say, be careful what you ask me, because I'm going to tell you. And the reality is that I went through dealing with the schools and the principals. And you know what? You're going to find some principals that are amazing and some that aren't, just like you're going to find some teachers that are amazing and some that aren't. I never try to categorize every situation, but even the good teachers then are dealt with having to deal with the board, having to deal with parents who want to come in and yell. At our school, we had a boy that was bullying to the point that he cut a girl's hair off. And because it was he said, she said, the parent said, my son would never do that. And the problem was he did. And he was actually suspended a few times. It was stuff that he was doing. And when this parent denied it, instead of dealing with it, the boy continued to do it. And, I don't think he's a bad kid. I think he's learning bad behavior. And I think that needs to be shifted. And the problem with it is that the schools are very stuck in some situations because the board will just give in. And so if you don't advocate, if you don't fight for your child, they will give in at the loudest person speaking. I always say, start being politically correct first. So at the last school my daughter was in, before we decided, screw this, we're putting her in private school, I want more say. I've been to the board. I have dealt with the MPPs. Listen, I'm a mama bear. You mess with my kids, I'm coming at you full on claws. Okay. I don't care who you are. I don't care what parent you are. I don't care what teacher you are. I don't care what board you are. I am not an unreasonable person. I am not a crazy person. First thing my kid comes home and complains about something, the first thing I ask is, what did you do? Right? I don't start off with, I'm going to go get those people. I'm like, what the hell did you do?
Right.
My teacher yelled at me. So what'd you do?
Right.
Teacher isn't just going to yell at you. Well, it was the group. I said, so you were part of the group. So it wasn't directly at you. I said, yeah. I said, so let it go. Move on. Enough with that. Okay. Because listen, here's the deal. Kids don't listen nowadays. It's even getting worse nowadays with distractions with technology. And so the first thing I ask my kids when they come home and complain about something is, what responsibility did you have in this? Make them take responsibility for their stuff. Mm-hmm. Teach them now, because when they get older and when they're 16, and if they're already 16, it's going to be much more difficult for you. Am I an expert? No, but I lived it. I lived it myself. I dealt with it, and I'm living with it with my children. And, I think that gives me some credibility of having some knowledge. And, I deal with the principals. And if it wasn't for this one vice principal, it's too bad he came in late at the last school. I probably would have kept my daughter in the school. But you know what? Too much damage was done for her. And when we told her that after COVID that school was going to start, my daughter dropped to the floor and bawled her eyes out and said, I can never go back to school again. She would have been happy to homeschool and never see anyone again. And I thought, we can't do this. This is not good for her.
Right.
And as much as my heart wanted to give in to her, I was like, this is not the solution. So my husband said, okay, we need to find a private school. We need to have a school that we have way more say. And I literally, when I talked to the director, said, this is what's happened. This is what needs to happen. And this is what I will not accept. And again, the most polite, nicest, with a smile on my face, politically correct way I could do it. She goes, we absolutely agree. My daughter is the happiest she's ever been because they don't tolerate it there. And yes, I'm paying for it. Not everybody can do that. I get it. However, you can be an advocate for your child. Don't let somebody quiet you down. I had the director of the board try to do that and ignore my conversation that we were dealing with. So I said, no problem. Me and another parent went to the MPP, Carolyn, in my area, and we had a little chat with her and let her know what was going on. I showed her emails. I showed her contact information, keep everything. And so I showed it to her all. Well, they were having a big conference at that time at the education. This was a few years ago. She goes, I'll have a chat. Well, within 24 hours, I had calls from everybody at the board apologizing for not getting back to me. And it took them 3 months to respond to me, but they were responding to other people. So they thought I was some yammering mother. They learned very quickly. So what I'm saying to you is, you have to be an advocate for your child because no one else will be. And there's a process. Follow the process, right? There's a Toronto trustee. There's a trustee that you can go to first, parent trustee. Start there. If that doesn't work, you go to the next level, right? You do your due diligence. And yes, is it frustrating? It's supporting your kid. Sometimes I had to keep her home because she was just devastated. And it's also talking to teachers. I had one teacher that was amazing. I love the way she did things. My daughter came home and said, my teacher corrected me. I said, good. Right. She was expecting me to give in. I'm like, no, good. Your teacher should correct you. How the heck are you going to learn? Well, she did it in front of the class. Well, does she do it with everybody else or just you? Everybody else. I said, get over it. It's going to continue for the rest of your life.
Move on. So let me put this into perspective.
Okay.
Tell everybody what you do right now.
So funny enough, everything I have done and everything I have led up to, I started speaking at the age of 19 and as an advocate for parents, teachers, and students with learning challenges all the way through college and university. So I'm a speaker. I'm a global executive coach. I have studied business. I have run my own business. I've been in corporate. So I help CEOs and I help business owners up-level their business. I help them define what it is they want to accomplish, very clear, concise vision, or expand an existing one. And I help them strategize and plan their entire vision and where they want to go with their business and give them very strong action steps to take to reach their bullseye. And I love, love, love what I do.
So let me ask you this. There's a young 16-year-old girl listening right now. She feels like, she can't get to that next level. What would you tell her?
Anything is possible. And then what I would say to you is find someone in your world, anywhere, that you can talk to, that sees options, ask questions. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Because I have proven over and over again for myself, for my children, for my clients, for other children, the possibility is everywhere. It's a funny thing you say, well, is anything really possible? And I said, well, if you say you're going to make $1 million tomorrow, that's probably not possible. Then I stopped myself and went, oh yeah, actually it is. You could walk out and actually win a lottery for $1 million. So anything is possible, which proves my point. If you want something, go after it. Don't let people tell you you can't do it. And when they do, say, thank you so much for sharing. I'll keep that in mind. And then you go find somebody else that you can talk to. And listen, with the internet, it's so easy to research. And you know what? I look at this. If anybody knows Walt Disney and knows Disney World, he went to 302 financial institutes that turned him down until one said yes. I got to tell you that 302 is really thinking what an idiot they were. Right? And so if it takes 100 people to talk to, don't give up on yourself. Just because other people do doesn't mean you should. I told you I had a fire in my belly. I had my own family telling me to do things that were, find that job that you're going to do well at. Because, you want to feel like you're succeeding in life. And I thought, we'll see. I had people tell me I wasn't going to be a good speaker. I shouldn't consider training. I love speaking. I'm amazing at it. I get paid to do it. I get paid to help people. I do what I love. So trust me when I tell you anything is possible, it is. Do not give up. Do not give in to people telling you can't. There is always somebody, and it's not always who we think it should be. So keep your eyes opened and don't give up.
All right. So let's talk about this special program that you're doing right now. We're working together on it. I want to give it to all my listeners. Tell them a little bit about it, because I figured if you see your future, if you can put your future, together and see where you want to be, because I think most of the time, because we don't see ourselves moving forward, because we hear all the negatives, we feel negative, we don't put ourselves in a good position to move forward. So talk about your program.
So the program we just launched, which is doing amazing, by the way, is called the Life Success Board System. And so one of the things that I focus on, as I mentioned, is vision. And it's really important to understand what you want. That's the biggest question to answer. If you can identify truly what you want in your heart of hearts, then you will have the success you're looking for. So the challenge is finding it, figuring out how to break it down, how to list it, how to plan it, and how to get it going. So what I did was I created the Life Success Board System. And what it is vision boards on speed. And what it does is, put you in that driver's seat. So what I've done is created a workbook. I've created 8 different success board systems, whether it's your career, your business, your finances, travel, education, health and wellness. And I even created one for kids, for parents to help them if they're younger. But as a teenager, you can go at it too. And really, the questions there are to really get your brain working and thinking, and to start thinking bigger than where you're at. So one of the things I tell people when I did it, and we just had a success board party actually last night too, that went very well. We had 10 women on there. It was craziness for 2 hours. But what it does is it allows you to start thinking outside the box. So here's what I tell everybody, because I want you to know this. I want you to think about if say your plan was a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. If it was, you reach that time, it's 3 years down the road, and you're sitting beside the most important person in your entire world, and you said to them, I did it. What did you do? That's your key question to everything. Because after that, don't think about money. Don't think about how. The how will come when you have clarity on what it is you want to do. And I've proven it over and over and over again. And I proved it again last night with people. So please trust me on this. If you can trust anyone, trust me on this. So you basically have 8 boards. You have bonuses, how to schedule, how to talk about finances. Those are all the bonuses in there outside the 8 boards. You have lifetime access to it. You can do it on Canva. I've set up templates for you. It doesn't cost you anything outside of what you're going to pay for the course. And you can do it over and over again. And then we talk about making sure you review it on a regular basis and update it. And we're giving you all of this plus templates. So you're going to see some of my templates that I've done so that you have examples. You can download it. You can print it off. We also have a template that's blank. You can download if you prefer to do the hands-on stuff. Whatever works best for you, this system gives you that opportunity because I wanted something for everybody. Now, the value of this is $709 US. But I wanted to make sure everyone, especially during this time, could have access to it. So we're charging you $37 US for this entire system. Because I know if you take the time, even if you do one of them, you have access to all of them for the rest of your life. But even if you did one of them, keep doing it, keep answering the questions, keep getting better at it. I promise you'll have what you're looking for. And if anybody buys it and wants to be part of a success board party, if you want to create your own, you can easily do that. Message me. I'll help you set it up. And, we'll do a party of 5 to 10 to 20 people. Or if you don't have that group, but you want to be a part of one, message me as well. And I'll include you in one of the other parties that are happening, because then you have 2 hours with me taking you step by step on how to do this. And I'm only doing these parties until the end of February. And then I'm launching a package where you can do them yourself.
All right. And then I want to make sure all my listeners, because for me growing up, if I had this, to see my future, I mean, when you're struggling and, teachers are telling you this and that, and you're feeling down on yourself, sometimes you need to put yourself forward and say, hey, this is where I want to be. How am I going to get there? So look in the description. I'm going to add the link in the description, and it's right there. And don't give up. That's the main thing. Never give up on yourself, because I believe that God put you on this earth for a reason. Everybody has a certain talent. You might not know what your talent is right now, but trust me, you will find it, and that's where you grow. So, Carolyn, it's been an honor to have you on my show. I appreciate you, and you know that already, but, coming out and talking about your story, I hope it helps somebody else to realize, hey, look at these two, I got my own show. You're doing great. We do our own, we are entrepreneurs. We're speakers, and we've gone through stuff that many people don't even know about. So I put this out there for everybody.
And we haven't even listed it all. It's a small part of what we've had to deal with. As Charles said it, we get it. And please don't give up on yourself. Like from my heart and soul, don't give up, because I promise you, you're meant to be here. There's something you're meant to do. And I didn't realize what it was for many years, till I was in my 40s. It took me. But because now you have support from us and we're giving you stuff you can work on, you'll find yours faster.
All right. Listen, thank you so much. Like I always tell you, be kind to someone, reach out to someone, and remember, someone's there for you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. If you liked the show or have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Join our mailing list, and as always, check out our special deals links below. I hope this has inspired you to look at your life and jump. See you next week.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.